First of all, with the yaw or yaw, I'm just using that word, I think it came as a title or as a framework because of the time we're in. We're in a pandemic. My life and other people's lives also hit a place of incredible uncertainty and a lot of cancellations and a lot of closing down of things and not knowing anymore where we're going in a way. So that's why I used this expression "ya," but it was also a way to give me the permission to also say, okay, I don't know where we're going. We also didn't know whether this workshop was going to happen in real life or at all until very recently, because we had to take a look at the situation globally. And so it was the only image that I could hold that would give me the permission and the space to be able to navigate, so to speak, and to be able to go through the fog, so to speak. So it's sort of like this material, like the materiality. One person's the bright bone, the materiality, this the lots, you see, and the other one is a handler, somebody who handles, somebody who serves the purpose of these bones, but also is there to throw them. So I want to also make another metaphor. So for example, if you have a dice, the dice is some material. Right, but then the hand is a different thing, but the hand is there to realize the job or the information of the material of the dice. Yes. There's the dowser and there's the stick or the thing, and so how can you realize that the two are involved together in a function, but they're actually not the same thing? Yeah. So how? And so in this case, how does the dowser, the one who finds water, is actually the one in service to the material? Yeah. Just like the one who throws the dice is in service to the dice. So maybe we work. Yeah. This I can really change. See what happens. Unbreakable. Yeah. Even if I interrupt her, she can also refuse. But so I'm being really harsh here. But I can also go. I can support also, and then I can throw. Right? So kind of the person who's handling is trying to, trying to catch also what's going on. You can always watch, you can always, are you okay, Manuel?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You can, first of all, safety, yeah? You're there to make sure that she's safe. Secondly, how can you amplify, clarify, or even trick? You know, at the beginning of this week, I mentioned, I just tried to really look at what is it that I wanted to explore, and I mentioned to be able to address ancestors, to be able to address landscape, and to address seeing. For me, the reason why I brought that when I came was because these are the things that are sort of have been in my heart or in my head
particularly the ancestors and the seeing aspect, because of my experiences, I would say in the past year in my research, but also specifically during the shutdown or the quarantine, and in that period where suddenly you couldn't do really anything but just try to live, and I felt like that was a place where I had to go in and I had to literally close my eyes, but also close my eyes to try to ask myself, well, what does it mean to see, and what does it mean to, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here when our leaders and the specialists in respect to the virus also didn't know? You know, they still, like, nobody knows anything definitively. We're still trying to figure it out. And so when I was faced with that uncertainty, I had to really look back at what I have, which is my body, and having to reflect upon that, and also looking at seeing in that sense of, even with your eyes closed, even when you are asleep, how do you see?
Come back up.
Oui.
On remonte.
Ah.
Vous avez besoin d'aide? Pour monter, ça me...
Non,
Vas-y.
c'est juste qu'on vient juste de le sentir.
Vas-y. Ah, vas-y.
Ok, on remonte.
Just so that you know, we're going to do one more round of this. So have a discussion to see what you're discovering, and how, but in both roles, and how you can deepen in the next round. So after this, we're going to do one more round. So we're going to work with
And the ancestors, just really, it has to do with looking at my body. It has to do with also looking at my Taiwanese roots. And my ancestors practiced worshiping their ancestors. So being somebody who's born in the United States, there's already sort of a separation or a division, because I'm not, culturally speaking, I'm more Californian than I'm Taiwanese, but genetically speaking, I'm Taiwanese. So in a way, this question and this inquiry was the way to try to bridge the kind of divisions or separations or contrasts or hybridities, I'm not sure which word is the best, which I've had all my life, in terms of really understanding what is it that makes me, not only as an artist, but also just as a person. So in many ways, I was wanting to bring this here. Landscape, I think, is just a very obvious thing, because of the context in which you put us in this program, that Kana, and it's OKNO, yeah? The framework of OKNO is really this idea of kind of, or what I understood, going into the deep countryside. And then for me, that brings up all these questions about, okay, we have nature, but it's loaded also, because what does it mean to dance in nature? How are we replicating settler colonialism in minor ways, but even though it's minor, it's reinforcing those kind of dynamics. And so I think looking at the questions about how you enter a natural site and how you impose, or what is it? Is it just about taking? Do you just go into a beautiful space to do a dance, and then it's just like you wear it, and then you throw it off and you go away? It's set up in a way where there's me and other people who are just imported into this space, and then soon we're going to leave. So I've had, in many ways, I think I grapple with this. It's a very troubling question, but this troubling question, I think, is also very generative, and I think it keeps me paying attention.
Mile, your. Okay, it's tricky. Let's just repeat only the sentence, yeah? Stop. Your land, my place. my face, your eyes. Your land, my place, your face, your eyes.
Jednym z głównych takich założeń przyjazdu do Barlinka było wzięcie udziału w warsztatach, które wydarzają się tutaj właśnie w ramach okien. I na pewno jeśli chodzi o moje oczekiwania, to bardzo mocno skupiałam się na tym przyjeździe z perspektywy właśnie uczestnika, który będzie brał udział po prostu w całym procesie, który prowadzi najpierw Sherwood swoimi metodami, a później Seagal. Właściwie jeśli chodzi o metody czy oczekiwania, jakie zrealizowałyśmy w trakcie warsztatów, to tutaj właśnie zaczyna się pewne rozwidlenie, ponieważ razem z Agą prowadzimy warsztaty, każda z nas właściwie pracuje na troszkę innych metodach i każda z nas realizuje ten warsztat w innych trochę przestrzeniach. No i na pewno te techniki się różnią od siebie w jakimś tam stopniu. Ja na przykład już któryś rok z rzędu pracuję nad stworzeniem takiej techniki wydobywanie głosu poprzez grupowość, poprzez spotkanie, poprzez wytworzenie jakiejś wspólnej atmosfery, wspólnej energetyki i mechanizmu pomiędzy ludźmi. I stawiam przede wszystkim właśnie na prowokowanie tej energii, żeby ona rosła do góry.
Jeśli o mnie chodzi, to kiedy przyjechałam tutaj, miałam takie oczekiwania związane z warsztatami, które zwykle prowadzę i wydawało mi się, że to będzie dosyć proste. To znaczy, że jest grupa ludzi, z którymi wiedziałam, że to będą ludzie, którzy też się ruszają, więc podejrzewałam, że będzie troszeczkę łatwiej wejść w jakiś proces wydobywania, jakby też zyskania świadomości, jak w ogóle głos powstaje, gdzie powstaje, które mięśnie są za to odpowiedzialne, bo zwykle pracuję właśnie w ten sposób, żeby włożyć w osoby taką świadomość pracy mięśni, kiedy głos powstaje, w jaki sposób, które mięśnie są za to odpowiedzialne i żeby jeszcze wrzucać dodatkowo jakieś wyobrażenia, które ułatwiają otwieranie głosu. Czyli pracuję na takim uwalnianiu głosu. Big eyes, big mouth and really slow. And big. No i po drodze okazało się, że jest Sherwood, który ma bardzo silny temat, który tutaj włożył w ten warsztat. Więc moje oczekiwania się zmieniły właściwie w ciągu pierwszego dnia, kiedy usłyszałam, z jakim tematem on pracuje i poczułam, że te wszystkie rzeczy, które my możemy tutaj dać razem, one muszą być wsparciem dla tematów, które tutaj się będą pojawiać. I potem przyjechała Seagal, która ma też swoją własną narrację na temat ruchu, na temat tego, czym jest ciało w przestrzeni. Ma zupełnie inny styl prowadzenia i my też staramy się odpowiadać, czyli dialogować z tym, co prowadzący główni tutaj proponują i wydobywać z tego coś też dla siebie i dla uczestników, jednocześnie nie rezygnując ze swoich metod.
Dzięki temu właściwie, że też te warsztaty, które prowadził Sherwood i Seagal, były poprowadzone w tak bardzo też narracyjny sposób, my mogłyśmy gdzieś znaleźć pomiędzy tym takie wersy, które dopisujemy pomiędzy tymi historiami. I właściwie od samego początku wypracował się dialog i taka wspólna trajektoria lotu, jeśli chodzi o te warsztaty pomiędzy nami a prowadzącymi.
miałam takie poczucie, że te pieśni, one właśnie bardzo mocno zadziałały dzięki temu tematowi przodków. Bardzo mocno, bo na przykład jak ja tutaj przyjechałam, to nie nastawiałam się na to, że będziemy się uczyć pieśni tradycyjnych. Ja się nastawiałam na warsztat wokalny, czyli po prostu
emisja, technika.
po prostu technika wokalna. I okazało się, że to ma dużo większą wartość, bo to bardzo bo buduje grupę. Buduje grupowość, poczucie grupowości, poczucie tego, że jesteśmy właśnie, że jesteśmy na linii tych przodków i że też będziemy przodkami, więc ten temat nam bardzo mocno wzniecił te pieśni, nie?
I też bardzo wyjątkowe dla mnie indywidualnie było to, że faktycznie cały warsztat był poprowadzony wzajemnościowo, że my brałyśmy udział w całym procesie Sherwooda na przykład i on też brał udział w całym procesie wokalnym, jakby nie zważając na to, że jest po prostu liderem, który prowadzi całość i właściwie to mogłoby być przestrzeń dla jego odpoczynku. Że była w nas taka realna ciekawość, jakby obustronna w ogóle tego, co się pomiędzy nami wydarza.
Okay, we're gonna try this for 20 to 30 minutes. Just to give you a sense of timing, okay? Everybody's seen? Suza!
I can see you.
They are different scores that are applicable in different ways, but I wonder if I was playing with them in, for me, sometimes new ways, right? What they all had in common was this idea of a third entity, this idea that is almost trying to push past your understanding or your mastery of something, but also then pushing into enigma. And so this is also kind of related to this idea of going back in, where she, like I don't know why she's feminine, but I just would rather somehow frame her as that way. And I don't think it's a single entity, I just think it's shorthand, like sort of a way to refer to her. But I mean, this question about, from a physical perspective, from a visual perspective, what constitutes somebody who becomes more present, too present, or concretely present, and then what is absence, but then specifically then wanting to exploit this kind of in-between, which is I think, a parallel to what she represents. Like on the outside, like some language that I don't know. How was it from the outside for you? What did you see?
I couldn't find when she appeared.
Ah,
Yeah. You could. Yeah, it was difficult to see. It was really hard to see. Yeah, the moment.
She gave me extra gestures, but it never came back to me.
So we keep the same thing. The rest of the body, you find a position, sitting, standing, kneeling, but you do this in a group. Just 8 people, like almost like 8 people makes a family portrait. Right? But I want to also for you to imagine is that the partner you're following, or the one who's following you, is these ancestors. Yeah, you can really imagine that you are working and you invite your bright bone ancestors to play with you this game, zigzag. To invite your bright bone ancestors, but with the eyes open. You can just keep the eyes open and just dancing the code, any speed. Third choice is really looking at us, looking at you. So this is a chance to see your colleagues. We have 8 people doing, 8 people witnessing, and you can just witness the witnesses. I mean, of course, you might be in each other's kinespheres. Like I might be in here, but this is not a problem. Like you can still intersect. So whatever position you're in, try to see if you can keep it for 10 minutes, and I'll communicate the time. So that your bright bone ancestors know the time too. You know, I'm saying like 5 minutes, 3 minutes, left 2 minutes, just so that they know. And being clear about the nuance and the detail, and really feeling the eyes of another bright bone ancestor who's imitating you. So please try to transmit and receive.
yeah, I mean, this notion of bright bone, which I think I'm using now as shorthand, but I think it's trying to affirm that each of us have power behind us through our ancestors, but then also look at the kind of this, because ancestors is a very charged word, and it's very very layered, and it's very different from each person. So that was also for me a challenge of like, how do I present this notion to people? And I think, regardless of your position of your spiritual worldview, any religion or lack of religion, the one place I kept on returning to, respective to looking at ancestors, even for the atheist, skeptic, communist or something like that, we can still talk about ancestors because everybody has them. And then the place where they can be located, even if you believe that once you're dead, it's gone, is actually the body, right? And then looking at genes and looking at your makeup, what you receive from your genes and through your body is then a very palpable, direct information. And it sounds quite obvious, but it's also good for us to remind ourselves of that. And that's sort of why I was saying, like, okay, then can our bodies then become the position of our encounter or our reflection with the ancestral field, right? And so this idea of bright bone is also trying to affirm our own respective strength relative to that ancestral field, whatever that might mean for you. But it's right now my questions are, yes, in what way is this research then applicable for movement research and for dance training? Okay, is the question, which I don't have an answer today.
Thank you. So, I'm going to talk to you now to share with you the next work. I call it Dreaming a Site, Rêver un lieu. Okay? I don't know how to translate that in Polish.
Marząc, śniąc
Na boku.
na boku.
Okay. So, the intention for this is to open yourself and to be receptive to the intelligence of a site, of a place. To dance as a form to research what is imported, what is indigenous. Use dance as a way to research what is imported, what is indigenous, what is colonialist, what is. And then the third is considering what it means to derive a dance from nature. To
Co to
draw.
znaczy wyciągnąć taniec albo tak z natury?
So here's the activity. Basically, we're all going to separate in nature and find a place in nature somewhere where you cannot be detected by any other humans.
Bon appetit. Smacznego.
Smacznego.
Make a circle with the feet inside, laying down. Everyone can lay down and rest. And put your feet on the inside. I want us to be able to feel that connection. So really imagine that this gathering and everyone bringing their bright bone just makes it more luminous and makes everyone brighter because of it. And I want to remind you of how unbreakable that is, how strong each of you are. I actually want to include our rich ancestral bright bone into contemporary experimentation. I feel like sometimes in the contemporary art world it's oftentimes not something that wants to be included because it might be too, as American English would say, too woo. Too hippie or too spiritual, but I'm trying to see how can we evoke the bright bone and also continue to experiment and continue to research as artists. At the same time, I refuse to call it fake either. For example, it makes me think about Keith Hennessy and Valentina Desideri's fake healing. And I want to avoid any irony in this work, because that might result in being cool, but somehow with an arrogant sense of self-absolution. And I feel like this self-absolution is dominant culture's easy tool to disengage from responsibility, from accountability, and that is a powerful instrument to sustain toxic power imbalance. And your bright bone is 100% you and 100% more than you. For you to consider and to care for your unique bright bone can be deep, messy, and unclear. So because of that, I wanted to talk about one thing, is when you zoom out from your bright bone, you realize that your larger ancestral field and its history can be as varied, colored, stained, traumatized as any families. Those things exist too in many of our family histories or our ancestral legacy. So in our respective genealogical histories, there are legacies of persecution, famine, war, and oppression, abuse, betrayals, genocide, family rancor, tragic death, whether it's recent or distant, trauma, multi-generational wounds, and the proof in our DNA and our genetic code. There are also others that are not in your genealogical family also that are not well. And in this time also many are suffering and dying prematurely and alone. And these ancestors in your field, while some of them may not be supportive of you, they also deserve attention too. So, and they also deserve respect, and they also deserve care. But I want to say that it's not exclusively your responsibility. It's not just on your shoulders. You may or may not feel their weight or influence on you. You don't have to be solely responsible for handling these issues or their demands. Bright ancestors can and do take care to support the ancestors who are less well. But with bright bone, you can send wishes of wellness to the more difficult legacies and ancestors who have as much capacity to transform as we do. So, I want to ask if you could just take some minutes to do some writing about your ancestral unwell, about what comes up. We've been looking at bright bone and benevolent ancestors for most of the week, but we also need to pay attention to this side as well, and just to be able to acknowledge it. So if I can ask you to then now go ahead and take your notebooks and do some writing and reflection.
I'm trying to see, okay, where is there the unfamiliar? Where is it that I don't know? Because I use these propositions as a way of trying to understand more. And I also get the feeling that it's also not going to have an end. Like meaning it's not as if I'm going to come up with answers also by the end. I hope it would yield, if anything, I hope it yields more questions for me and for participants. Maybe these questions are really asking us to step in, and then I'm still a performer. I'm still asking questions about what can performance be. Still trying to experiment with that. So that's also something that I don't know if we'll be able to resolve in this week together. But what does it mean to be able to step in, and then what does performance mean once you invest in accessing that inwardness, so to speak.
So please continue. We have actually people who are coming to visit us, so you don't have to be shy. We have all the space here. Okay, thank you. So, actually now, let's change work to all mix up. So, what I propose is that I'm gonna let's see if all the workshop, the laboratory people, the artists who came to work this week, if we can find a partner who's visiting. Okay, so you have two partners, or you have a partner. One person has a mirror, the other one doesn't have a mirror.
Jedna osoba ma lustro, druga osoba nie ma lustra.
Okay, the one who has the mirror is the one that's being led.
Ta osoba, która ma lustro, jest prowadzona.
And the one who's leading is leading with her finger.
Ta osoba, która prowadzi z swoim palcem.
So the one who's following is always trying to catch the finger in the reflection.
Tak, że ta osoba, która podąża za tą drugą osobą, musi zawsze widzieć ten palec w odbiciu lustra.
And I try, as the leader, to show the space to my partner through the reflection.
I jako lider próbuję pokazać przestrzeń mojemu partnerowi poprzez odbicie.
This also, remember, that this person who has the mirror has a choice of framing.
Ta osoba, która ma lustro, pamiętajcie o tym, że to ona też ma możliwość formowania poprzez przesuwanie się, zmianę pozycji lustra.
So you can also work far away, no problem. As long as the finger stays in the frame, you can also choose how to frame and what you want to show.
Więc możecie być daleko od siebie, nie ma z tym problemu. Tak długo jak w lustrze można wciąż zobaczyć palec.
Please have a short discussion with your partner, just for a couple of minutes, to talk about your experience. You can say. Short discussion with your partner is always.
Recognize from the perspective small details and big details.
This picture on the wood. I know who made it, I know why.
Że jakoś te drzewa pięknie stały sobie.
So you open your two hands like you almost hold two sides of a rainbow in each hand. You just hold it and you open it above you. So you create a half circle of rainbow, of light, or whatever around you. You hold it in your hands.
Powoli pozwól, otwórz ręce, tak jakbyś trzymał dwie części tęczy. To półkoło, które idzie od jednej ręki do drugiej.
Until you will arrive to the floor, and then you are in a V position in direction floor. So you now get information from down.
Aż do momentu, w którym dojdziesz do podłogi i teraz jesteśmy w odwróconym V do dołu, do podłogi. Więc twoje ręce, pomimo tego, że wciąż nie dotykają, to jakby z zewnątrz organizują to, co jest wewnątrz. I porządkują, i dają wsparcie temu, co jest wewnątrz.
My main work in general is how to bring people to their highest potential by using what they have and not what they don't have. By dropping their mind into their heart, heart into the belly, belly into the source. So we are completely available and fragile without any protection layer around us that will block us, that it will be hermetic, the meeting. And by understanding that when they are connected to what they are special. They're, you know, and then it doesn't matter if one can just lift his hand without doing nothing, you know. I can be touched by it because it's so authentic. I can have tears when I see one do nothing, just do like this, and it will be back. It will hit a point, emotional point in me, and I said yes. So there I want to bring the people with me together. So we go to a journey together, how to drop all pattern, how to drop judgment, how to be concrete with the body, how to observe the body, to be witness to the body. So this is all this kind of training we do in the physical morning. And after we integrate also all the nature elements that it's existential to us to live. I like it when we work together. I like that first of all, we find our own bodies, so each one, but then slowly, bit by bit, we bring everything down to the floor, to the surface, so we find a common floor to be exist on. So even after, if we do something and I will work with you, but I don't agree to all what you propose, there is a place for dialogue. There is no cancellation. So we give each other the spaces to be exist, and we can fulfill and help to fulfill each other's desire as a collective, as a collective. But what we need from each one of alone to be in his alignment, to be in to be in his heart space. So the frustration or the bitterness not controlling, because then there is separation. Then there is, and we can get there just if we understand and we connect with our body, with what there is, and we know that we are enough.
To przestrzeń pomiędzy ciałami.
every time, every second that passes, we drop more from our identity. From the image that we think we're giving, or what we know that we give constantly, and we let the other thing. And we let the other thing appear. Like a new skin, a new information.
Z każdą minutą odpuszczamy jeszcze bardziej. Jeszcze bardziej odpuszczamy naszą tożsamość, to co znamy, świadomość tego, jak wyglądamy.
Even more what we know. Even more we drop what we know, who we think we are.
Jeszcze bardziej odpuszczamy to, co znamy, to kim myślimy, że jesteśmy.
Dance in our own normal logic. Get a new logic, new information.
Dajemy nową logikę, nową informację.
There is mirror to us, with exactly mirroring us. So if we stand, he will stand, but the feet is up and his head is down. So the other us, our mirror is down, we are connected through the legs, through the earth. And what is do under there, under earth? Then we are the manifestation of it up, and he move us. What's move us? So there is another us mirroring to us. And this is our engine, because he knows exactly what do we need to break through, what we don't need to do. He completely know how to, what we need to be able to find new things, to be different, to drop all our knowledge, information. So he just like give us, yes. We move because he moves down there. We move and we do things. What we do is because he do it exactly as a mirror in the opposite to us, under. So it's not up to us to do up things here.
Możesz zobaczyć lustro, które jest pod nami, które idzie aż w głąb ziemi. I które, będąc tym lustrem, robisz opozycję tego, co byś zrobił normalnie.
Because it walks down us, in a mirror to us, and we connect it through the legs. Or what we do, we have the mirror, but not vertically. We have vertical mirroring, and we are the manifestation of what's happening down there that we don't see. But it's another us that really give us the yes, exactly.
Nawet jeżeli idziemy, to idziemy tak naprawdę do tego, że pod nami idzie. W tym lustrze ktoś też idzie. I my jesteśmy manifestacją tego, co jest
beautiful.
Pod nami.
Yes, super. Yeah, exactly. So there is another us living in the horizontal, in the vertical, and what separates is the earth, so the flow. We cannot see it, but we are connected. So what he do down there, if he walk there, so I walk up here. If he lay down, I lay down, because I just have to have no other choice. This is what it's done. It's due to me.
Więc są drudzy my. I to połączenie to jest to, co jest robione mnie. To, co mnie robi.
So we give about the control in our mind of what we are doing up here. We drop. Because actually we can just follow what this mirroring doing. We can't decide ourselves. It's not about us. It's not up to us.
Więc odpuszczamy kontrolę.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
to nie zależy od nas. Musimy to robić, bo jesteśmy połączeni, ale to jest fizyczna manifestacja tego, co jest tam, na dole.
close the eyes for a second and really feel your mirror down there, under earth, and feel the connection. So what's touched the floor, this is the connection point. And it's done in exactly the same shape, so you can really be where you are and just like feel it.
Bardzo ciekawa była ta zmiana energii w momencie przyjazdu Sigal, bo jakby też bardzo ciekawe było to, że Sherwood został na tym warsztacie, więc ja dalej 2 pierwsze dni miałam wrażenie, patrząc na niego, że zaraz obok niego w ogóle siedzi cały rząd przodków, których jakby wszystkie duchy, które wywołaliśmy wspólnie, grupowo przez ten tydzień. I przyjechała Sigal z zupełnie inną energią, w ogóle takiej świeżości. Sama ona w ogóle dla mnie jest taką bardzo rzeźką i świeżą osobą.
I też z taką energią opieki, nie?
Bardzo dużej opieki, ale też właśnie takiej prawdziwej miłości do ruchu i do ciała. I jakby nagle ta perspektywa zupełnie się zmieniła. I bardzo mnie ucieszyło, kiedy zaproponowała nam, żebyśmy pracowali razem w dialogu warsztatowo na temacie żywiołów.
Mainly triangle of intuition. It's a huge trust, triangle of huge trust, how to constantly fall to the unknown. So even if I do something that's familiar to me and I know this dance, it's a very fixed dance, how today I open this fixed dance? So even if I repeat myself in a movement, the same movement, how today I do it, that it will make sense for me to do it, and not just repeating like an automatic pilot. Like, again, I do my stuff again, without seeing what there is today in me that can emotionally open, so if you will look at me, you can be touched by, and I can be touched by it also. How to be completely in relation and not to be in my own bubble. How to work as collective, especially also as collective, and inside this there is individual. So we support each other. So we, and the idea with the nature elements. We start with the earth. Then we went to the fire. Then the third day we were dealing with air, with breathing, with all what's around. And today, the fourth day, we were in the water, which is about also like cleaning, washing, the sensation on the skin is different, and the negotiation between out and in.
Yes. Prepare, concentrate. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Here on the bench, number 3. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I śpiewamy.
Sokol mi lata wysoko, idę wojko. Sokol mi lata wysoko. Sokol mi lata wysoko.
So I love to participate in new things, and especially I love to work with voice. My voice, I don't think my voice is good or something, so I always fascinating about people who work with voice. And I use a lot of time my voice just to open my body. So actually the work with Lena and Aga were fantastic for me, and I really appreciate what they do. Plus all the Balkan songs that they teach and present, I found them very, I understand nothing, but just the energy of them and the sensation that come out of it, there is a very deep depth to it. So I feel it in my body and I fantasize on it. I feel the land, I feel the history of the land. Even if I don't know really what's happening each year in this land, but I feel that there is something very strong in this land for me. So actually it was very easy, the negotiation with them. And I felt that we find a way, because we had this ground plan about the element. So each one I try to tune with my body to prepare the body for the elements that we will work on, and they also with the songs, with the voice in the warm-up. And it was really beautiful because we start with physical practice. We went to the actual sensation of the land, of the earth, the fire, and after, on top of it, we finish with the voice on it, passing through. So I found it super beautiful, actually. This kind of circle, body to the sensation, to the earth, to the fire, to the heat, and then on top there is the voice that come and enter it and complete it and wrap it. And I hope that they were also happy from this idea.
Oh
I don't like to create this hierarchy. That I'm the teacher, so sometimes maybe it's happened, but not in a workshop like this, it's not right, I feel. We have to find a place where we are all having together, we are all influenced together the situation, and we are all looking together about the needs of everybody, and we are all creating together the ground to the things happen. And I felt that this is also what's happened, actually. So for me, I'm not just coming and I give the exercises and I'm the head of the workshop. I propose things, but I have to be constantly in a very sensitive, intelligent dialogue with the bodies and with the feelings, to sense the feeling, what is the feeling around, how is people feel, how is the heart of the people, how is the physical body situation. So because of this, it's always very important for me that we will be constantly in dialogue about it, so we can go together somewhere.
Będziemy cały czas patrzeć się sobie w oczy przez 20 minut, myślę. Możemy się oddalać,
Czy ktoś nie ma pary?
możemy siadać, wstawać, możemy robić różne rzeczy.
Oh yeah, you didn't see. She was upset. She was like this.